Hello there, in this video we're going to start looking at colour palettes for our designs, so let's go. Okay, welcome back to the file. So I'm currently in the project overview, and in this video we're going to start to look at colour palettes that are going to be suitable for our dashboard. So I've gone ahead and I've created a colour page, so that's ready there. Let's start by going into the mood board and let's have a look at some of the colour palettes that were being used on some of these other dashboards. So zooming in, we have some kind of pastel-y colours, some dashboards that are just using just one colour and then a range of that colour, as you can see on some of these mock-ups. We've got some that are keeping it really simple, so really restricting that palette and only using a select few colours, which is quite nice. Again, very similar here with the greens, different shades of green being used on that one. So again, similar on this one, a very limited palette, usage of green in different areas. Got black call to actions up there. So again, similar on this dashboard here, kind of more of a muted palette, and they're kind of steering towards using one color for most of the UI. So again, looking at this dashboard, it's pretty clean. Nice clean UI, very simple palette, and yeah, quite a nice strong color there. So let me just draw out a swatch here, and let me just steal this color for the moment. Quite like that as a primary color. Let me just option drag and duplicate that out. Okay, so I like this color, but it's quite strong. I might just dull it down a little bit, so maybe about there. Maybe increase the saturation slightly, just bring it back a bit to 98, yeah. And for the lightness, see, bring it all the way down, goes really dark, really light. So let's go somewhere in the middle, so about there. That could be an option for our primary color. Let me just move that across. Let's just delete that. Let me just keep that on the board for the moment. Let me just move it over here and let's just have a look around. Yeah, so most of these palettes kind of lead with one strong color, and then they have secondary, and then looking across some of the interfaces, you've got the success, you've got the alert, you've got the error, and these appear very subtly in some cases. So these are kind of like success signifiers here, and there's some that are signifying there's a bit of an issue here with that tile, just as an example. Again, similar here, you got the increase and decrease indicators here, and they're signified in a red and a green. Let's just go and have a look at some of these others. You got the green and red signifying increase and decrease there. Potentially on this one, there's a bit of an alert color here on that card. Just looking at some of these palettes, I should probably zoom over here where we've got lots of dashboards as well. So yeah, probably focus on primary, secondary, and then we have the alert colors, so the errors, the successes, the alerts that we want to draw our users' attention to. And then potentially we need a neutral palette. So a lot of these have got a lot of different blacks and greys. And we're going to need a neutral palette that scales and gives us that range of kind of blacks and greys that we can use across the UI. Okay, just while we're here on the mood board page, let me just go into our overview. It does say establish a lightweight visual system for this project. So lightweight, doesn't need to be too detailed, just the essentials. So let's go with this for now as our primary, and let's kind of build it out from there. And as I say, we'll get our success, alert, error, and our neutral colors as well. Let's just Command C, delete that from there, and let's go to our color page. Let's just rename the page for now, so it's just color. Let's paste that in, so that's the swatch. Okay, so let me just rename this to primary. Let's just option click and drag and label this as secondary. Okay, and we're just going to go into the fill. We're currently on HSB. So you can use the bar up here to cycle through the different colors, or you can use the number as well. Let's just cycle through to get a secondary color. Now I want something that's a bit different to the blue. Okay, that's fine for now. Let's use that. Let's option click and drag, and let's bring that out. Let's go to our alerts. So let's start with error. So let's go back into the fill, and I'm just going to drag that all the way to the red. Okay, let's option click and drag, go back in, let's do alert. Okay, let's click in here, go to fill, let's go to like an orange, And let's go in here, click on option, click and drag. Let's just rename that success. Okay, let's go in here and let's go across to the greens, and let's place it there for now. So we've created each of these colors, and it's been pretty straightforward and pretty easy because all we've done is we've gone in and we've changed the hue. So we've just dragged the slider, or we've adjusted the number on the hue. Now that's fine for early experimentation, but the palette does look quite leery and quite almost neon in some cases for these different colors. So I just want to refine it again. So I'm just going to option click and drag, bring it down a level. Now secondary, if I go in, don't think there's too much to tweak. Quite like to adjust the saturation, maybe bring it down. So maybe that's too light, maybe about there. Just trying to match it up to the original primary color. Let's go into error. That is very, very bright. Okay, so obviously we'll keep it on 0. I think that's fine. I think the saturation, we could probably bring it down a little bit. Not too much, but just a bit. Maybe about there. And brightness, I mean, it's pretty bright at the moment, so let's bring it down a little bit. Let's bring it down, say, to there. Okay, let's click on alert. Let's do the same. It's almost a bit muddy in a way. I wonder if we can just kind of bump it a little bit. So it's kind of a bit more gold. Let's just adjust the saturation a little bit. If we play around with this, let's just crank it up a little bit. Let's go 96. What can we do with the brightness? Maybe we can bring it down to about, maybe about there. Okay, and finally the success. This is very, very bright, so let's start by, let's increase the hue. Let's go up a little bit. Maybe that's too far. Let's go back, maybe there, just on the edge. Saturation, yeah, that's probably okay. Let's just drop the brightness. So let's bring it down. It's not too intense, but it's still green. Yeah, so maybe around there. And I kind of like that better already. So this row, I like the first two colors, and there's not too much in terms of change there. This error is very, very bright. I've just toned it down a little bit. The alert, it's almost kind of changed to a gold color here, so that's fine. And I think the green, that is almost neon green, and it feels a little bit out of place alongside the other colors. So just toning it down a bit to this style of green, I think fits better within this kind of palette of colors. Okay, I think as a first pass, I think I'll be happy with this now. Let's just make a note here, and let's just put, okay, that's obviously slightly too big. Let me just press K on the keyboard, drop this down, put that as version 1. Let's do this as version 2. Okay, so at least we have the history of what we've been doing. Let's just take version 2. Let me just group these for now, so they're easier to move around. Let's take version 2, move it down here, and now what we can do is start to build out each of these colors. I am going to just leave a note as well because we still need our neutrals. Okay, I'll leave that there as well. Okay, so now we've got our version 2 colors set. Let's go into our plugins and let's select the Foundation Colour Generator. Now, if you've not used this before, this will help generate your colors, and it has a number of different profiles under here as well. Let's go ahead and select Atlassian, and what this is going to do is allow us to build out a scale for our colors and also our neutrals based on the colors that we have here. So moving forward, let's just rename this first one because this is going to be primary. Let's click on the color, select the eyedropper, and let's get our blue. Okay, so that is our first one. What we're going to do is let's generate the palette. Okay, there we go. Just move that down a little bit because that's jumped all the way to the top. And also what I'm going to do is I'll generate and create the styles as we go as well. Let me just click off. Okay, so as you can see, when I click off onto the canvas, go into my styles panel here, it's done foundation and it's done primary and it's added our colors. So that's a good start. Let's go ahead and let's rename this to secondary. Let's select the eyedropper again and let's select our secondary color. Okay, that's great. Let's select palette. So that's going to pop the palette there for me. Just move that and bring it down. And now I'm going to select create styles and as you can see the pop-up comes up and says 7 created. Again, let's just double check. Yep, so secondary is created as well. Okay, let's adjust the name. Let's do error. Let's click on the eyedropper tool. There we go. And let's select our error color. Let's click on palette. Again, it seems to jump to the middle of the screen, but I'll just move that down. So there's error. I'm going to click on create styles as well. So 7 styles created. Let's just click off. They're created in there. Okay, great. Let's go to alert. Okay, perfect. Let's go to our color dropper. Okay, let's just try that again. Let's go to our eyedropper. Click here and let's select the alert color. Let's click on palette. Okay, that's good. Let's move that down there. And let's click create styles. Clicking off again. Yeah, we've got our alerts in there as well. And last of all, let's just do success. So success, click on the eyedropper, click here. There's our green. And now let's click on palette. Okay, let's move that down. Not sure why that's done that in lowercase, but let's just adjust that there. Same with that. Okay, and yeah, we need to create styles, so we'll create the styles as well. And as you can see, the panel's filling up nicely. Okay, now last of all, we have our neutrals. So what I would do is take our primary color, let's option click and drag. It's going to bring that next to neutrals. Let me just close the plugin for a moment. Go into the fill, and I'm going to go into HSL. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the lightness all the way down to about, let's do 8. And let's just click off. Let's load the plugin again. Okay, let's select the same color profile, which is Atlassian. Let's go to neutral. Just going to type in the name of neutral. Okay, select on the eyedropper, click here with the eyedropper, select the color. So the fact that we've used our primary color here as well and created the neutrals and just dropped down the lightness just makes that neutral color feel part of the family as it's been generated from the primary color. Okay, so again, click on palette. That's going to generate our neutral colors. Let's bring that down and let's also create our styles. 19 have been created. Let's click off and let's just scroll down. And yeah, there's our neutral colors. Okay, so we have our colors. We've got our primary, we've got our secondary, error, alert, success, and neutral. Okay, for now, this is all we're going to do for color. We'll keep it really, really minimal. And if we need more colors, we can always add them later. But I think for now, this is a great starting point. Obviously for color, there are lots of different ways that you can do this. I'm just using this plugin for this example project that we're building, but I just wanted to say it's not the only way of building color. This is just one of the ways. So what I'd probably look to do is over the last few years, Figma has gone from using the styles panel and has shifted into using variables. So at the moment, we've got no collections, there's nothing in there. If we go into our actions, we go plugins and widgets, and we go styles to variables converter. Now if I click on the 3 dots and view, this plugin converts the styles into variables and it should reflect all of the structure that we have here. So if I click on run, it's saying 54 have been created. If I now go into our variable settings, there we go. We now have a color styles and we've got foundation and we've got primary, secondary, error, alert, success, and neutral. Okay, so if we just close that out, I can actually delete these color styles now because we're not going to need them. Okay, there we go, those are deleted because we're going to be using our variables panel. Okay, next of all, what I want to do is just organize a page with all of these styles on it. And what I'll do is link each of the swatches to the relevant variable color, and we'll go from there. So I'll speed this part of the video up. I'll just tidy up this page so all the colors are neatly organized and they're easy to navigate. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, welcome back to the file. So as you can see, we've got a nice tidy page now with our colors. So we have our primary palettes, we have our secondaries, our neutrals, error, alert, and success. So that's all neatly organized there. If I were to draw out a quick shape and go into the fill, you can see we've got all our variables set, so primary, secondary, error, alert, success, and so on. And if you type in, say, neutral, it brings up your neutral colors. And if you typed in error, it would also bring up error colors and so on. So really, really easy to navigate. So going into the variables panel one more time, just to show you the structure. So we have our color styles collection, and everything is separated out into different groups. So I'm not going to go into too much detail in this video on variables. I have done some other videos where I show you how to organize the variables, and potentially in future videos I want to share how to build design system tokens and build a system that scales for your design system. But for now, that won't be part of this series. So there's our collections, there's our variables. Let's just close that panel. Okay, so for now I think on the color front we're done. Let's go back up to our project overview and let's see what's next. Okay, so on the visual style and brand direction, we've done a color palette that should be suitable for our interface. And if we need more colors, we can also add them to it. So yeah, in the next video, let's explore some typography choices and see what would work for our project. Okay, that's it for this video. What do I say? Okay, there we go. Okay, that's it for this video. Like and subscribe. No, wait a minute. Come on, think. Okay, that's it for this video. Like and subscribe, all of the things, and I will see you next week in another video. See ya. I managed to remember the outro in the end, so that was good. Do you know what, there's a tile that's always been in my office that I've only just looked at just now. How sick is that? An eagle carrying a whale? Carrying a great white? I mean, what do you see? Something random for today? So yeah, for the rest of the day, time to get a hot drink. Time to try hummus chips with tomato and basil. Hopefully they're not as disappointing as they sound. Plant-based it says. Okay, it might be alright. Might be okay. I think I might have had those before. They're not too bad. So crisps, drinks and design. What a combo. See you next week.